Hey everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Big Brother 28 this evening. Wow, what an eviction episode. I'm actually at a loss of words. I just watched it, and someone who was evicted, I did not want to see them go this early, although I expected that they would, based on how the house and just the house dynamics in general were unfolding. But let's get right into the episode and then we can go from there. So, essentially, post the Tea Party gate where Kamu thought it was a great idea to call out Jason in front of the house, the writing was on the wall for Jason if he stayed on the block post Blockbuster, but there was an expectation that Jason was going to win it because he won it last week and he presents as a very strong competitor. Now, here's the thing. That being said, Kamu was going around trying to spread the word that Mallory was the person going home. So there was a lot of talks where, if Jason is removed or Jason saves himself, if it's between Lyric and Mallory, Mallory's going, which we all know how Mallory is. She doesn't do well with her emotions in the moment. So there was a lot of crashing out. There was a lot of back and forth on the edited show. But during the Blockbuster competition, it was very close between Mallory and Jason, and ironically, Mallory pulled out the win. And I've been saying it from the very beginning. Mallory is my winner pick. She seems stacked. Now she has two competitions under her belt. She's already won a veto and she's already won a Blockbuster. And she's already verbalized or vocalized that she's coming after the icons. So that was the main reason why a lot of the other side of the house wanted her out. But they might have to try again next week because she's safe. So that leads to a very disappointed Jason who pretty much knows his fate. He's on the ground crying. Then once it's revealed that Mallory won the Blockbuster, when Lala, Jason, and Mallory come around the corner, Jason goes and puts his clothes on. He's upset. There's a point where Kamu tries to come up to him. He says, "Don't touch me," which I love. I love Scramble Big Brother. Like, I love when people are angry, mad, they're in their feelings because this is, for most of them, their dreams if they weren't recruited. Also, you have $750,000 on the line, and that's life changing money for a lot of people. And it just seems like Jason, not to say that he gave up, but he just kind of knew the writing was on the wall, right? And when every house gets voted, they kind of arranged it in a way where the house that would vote against Jason went first. And then we had a little hope. We were like, okay, where's this going to go with Melody? But once we saw Melody's vote against Jason, it kind of everything else just trickled in. And Jason was voted out unanimously. He did not receive a single vote to stay, which I was explaining to some of my friends and relatives, and this is their first season watching Big Brother. They're like, why does everyone vote the same? I said, a lot of times people want to save face with the people in power. So if you don't vote with the house, they kind of take it personal. Whereas me personally, if I was in power, I wouldn't take it personal. Like, I'm all down for a hinky vote because why not? Especially if the person that I want to go home goes home. Like, what do I care about who voted for them to stay? If anything, it shows me where it it shows me the type of people or the people in the house I need to work on so I can have them on my side. It's just more information. I just wouldn't be offended by it, right? But everyone's different. Everyone's not me. I'm not in the game. So, Jason was evicted, and surprisingly, being the icon that he is, he came out to Julie banging a tea kettle, much like he was doing throughout the week, which was amazing. I don't think we've ever experienced that. I mean, we could have with Josh, but he was never evicted because he won. Josh from Big Brother 19 with him banging pots and pans in the house. So an emotional Jason comes out, can barely hold himself together because from my understanding, he loves Big Brother. This is like a dream. His best friend's Frankie Grande. So just even having the experience of being on this show, as well as being a reality TV vet, which most people wouldn't think a reality TV vet would even get an opportunity to play, meant so much to him. And I really, really appreciated that. Like, I hate, not I hate, I don't like when people don't really appreciate the opportunities that are given to them. And I feel like although he was evicted early, Jason took advantage of every single situation in that game, even if it was detrimental to his game. He talked shit, he lied, he tried to manipulate, he tried to build alliances, he gave us drama, he was giving us fashion, he was giving us body, he gave us entertainment, he gave us tears. I feel like he just gave us so much as a Big Brother player, and I would have loved to see him play longer, but unfortunately his time was up. And another thing that Julie revealed to him was that he was a top 3 contender for every time capsule vote, meaning that the fans also wanted the best for him, which is major. You know, I think for him, he kept saying that, like, it's hard being someone like me. It's hard being someone like me in his house. It's very difficult. And we get it. Like I said before, he's gay, he's Latino, he's a drag queen, and there's no one else even in his realm that's in that house. Like, he's also, in terms of a Big Brother player, older. He's in his mid-30s. So for him to connect with people is going to be very hard, which I'll cover in why Jason lost Big Brother at the end of this episode. But I think it was one of Julie's best interviews I've seen in a very long time. She was engaged. It seems like she loved Jason. And although he was evicted, I just hope he's able to keep his head held high, because he definitely was an inspiration to many people. Like, I was like, by the end of this week, I was annoyed. I really hoped that he won the blockbuster. I just felt like that side of the house needs very strong house guests to go against those icons. And although we love Lala, I just don't think that she even is game savvy enough to even contend with them. Like, you had Taylor essentially telling her what to do and what not to do. And it's like, at this stage in the game, it's like, come on, Lala, figure it out. But Jason, although he ran his mouth, he was all over the place. He was a shield for everybody. He could win a competition if he had to. And I personally think if he fucked with you, he was going to remain loyal. Although he tried to manipulate Angela, whatever the case may be, it doesn't seem like he was ever really loyal to her anyway. So it really didn't matter. And I also mentioned this in the episode with Mikey, episode 11, that had Jason been included with the icons, he might have been at a better advantage, because that would have been almost an automatic alliance, at least for the first couple weeks. Who knows? They might have turned on him just as fast. You know, we don't know. But I'm glad that he finally got to live out his Big Brother dream on season 28. And I can't wait to see what else he has to offer moving forward. Okay, going down to house dynamics. We have this graphic provided by at Billy Biggs _, and Billy Biggs has also said on X that they may not be providing graphics because they want a certain person removed from the game, because some previous social media posts have been have been pulled up recently, and a lot of people, the fandom, want this person removed. And I will cover that in the live feed section because it's not in the edited episode. But we have our alliance graphs. So now we have a more divided house, like in actual organized sections. We have the icons, which consists of Angela, Devins, D. The crossovers, Angela, Devins, D, Barrett, and Drew. The red corner, Angela, Devins, D, Haley, Kamu, and Chuck. We have the tool shed, Angela, Devins, D, Drew, Chuck, Kamu, Haley, Barrett. I was about to say Garrett, Barrett. We have the Honor Society, which includes Taylor, Latrice, Angela, and D. Dapper Dans, which is Josh, Barrett, Drew, and Devins. The Wolf Pack, which is Josh, D, Kamu, and Devins. The Jugglers, Barrett, and Drew, which is, the title is fitting because they're playing both sides of the house. The Giggle Girls, Lyric, Melody, and Mallory. We have an unnamed final three between Kamu, Taylor, and Devins. Sadly, on an island of his own, Jason. And then we have the handyman, which consists of Kamu and Drew. So it seems like, per usual, Angela, Devins, and Dee are in the best positions in terms of alliances. More specifically, it seems like Devins is actually way more integrated than Angela and Dee, which is good for his game. We don't have an updated target chart right now, but let's acknowledge who stood out this week. Number one, I'm going to give it to Jason. I feel like Jason was fighting for his life in that house. Even during the tea party, he kept his composure. He had very valid points. Even during his eviction speech, all valid points. Like, keep me in this game. They're going to steamroll and take everyone out one after the other. There's like 8 of them. That's like 8 people in the jury. No one else is going to be able to find a spot there. Like, that was valid. And I really appreciate that he actually fought. Like I said before, like, I hate a player who does not fight for their position in the game. And I feel like he gave it everything he had. I'm going to say another breakout star was Mallory. Like, although Mallory was crashing out, she was sad, she was nervous. Mallory never gave up. Like, she could have easily went into the blockbuster very defeated, right? But she gave it her all and she pulled out the win. And I'm not mad at it. And I know some people are mad at it because they wanted her ass out and she's still there. Now, if we can get a head of household from her this week, we'll be in an even better position. Then my third breakout star for the week is Lyric. Lyric saved her ass as well. She won a power veto and took herself off the block. Mama's been flirting. Mama has been teaming up with the ladies. I think Lyric is in it for the long haul. And also that challenge win has really solidified her spot as like a great person to have on your side moving forward. House guests that are in the best position. Honestly, I'm going to just give it to Devins, Dee, and Angela. No need to speak on them individually. I don't see a situation where they're going anywhere unless Mallory wins head of household, which is quite possible. Also, honorable mentions, Yash and Taylor. Although Haley's still on Taylor's neck, Dee and Angela are still on Taylor. Anyone else, I don't see Taylor being a target. Yash, I don't know if it's because he's not really playing, he's laying low, which is a great strategy to have, honestly, but he's also not a target. But I'm going to give the best position right now is Devins, Angela, and Dee, because no matter what, Devins also has the power, the diamond power veto, where he can save someone, including himself, and select the nominee to go up in that person's place. That is a huge power. The best position. I mean, he might be in the best position for 6 weeks because that's how long it lasts. House guest most vulnerable. I'm going to say Latrice, only because there were conversations this week where even from her own side of the house, they didn't feel like she was a strong enough asset to keep. And I think if Mallory had a little bit more time, or Jason had a little bit more time to kind of get in people's heads, then I could have saw Latrice going out tonight. People wanted her out. And plus they're annoyed with her being bossy about the cooking and cleaning, things like that. Although she's saying like that was just her just being helpful because they have to live together and the house is a mess. It wasn't received well from everyone or by everyone. So I can see Latrice definitely vulnerable. Also, I'm going to throw up Drew. Now, a couple weeks ago, Drew was in a great position, but now Angela, Dee, they're on Drew. They're on him. And Angela's paranoia has pretty much spread around the house about Drew, and she's ready to strike at any point. I feel like if Angela wins head of household this upcoming week for week 4, Drew might get backdoored. And it's crazy because, like I said previously, Barrett and Drew are playing the same exact game, except Drew is more Drew is more overt and Barrett is more covert. And now that Drew, like people know about Drew and Melody, and because Angela was trying to get Melody out a couple weeks ago, remember, to weaken Drew. And I don't think Drew is even aware that any of this is happening. Like, I don't think he understands how much he's walking on thin ice. And I feel like that's not good. So I feel like Drew's vulnerable, Lala's vulnerable. And my third person, I'm going to actually throw Chuck up here, right? There's been some rumblings that people feel like Chuck is coasting, not a floater. And like I had this conversation with someone on TikTok earlier. We had a conversation between the difference between a floater and a coaster. And they were trying to say that Drew was not a floater because a floater goes to the power. But if the power is only going in one direction so far, yeah, you can't float back and forth. But what Drew is doing, Drew is going from person to person, getting information, snitching, and taking that information back to the power. That is a rat floater. It just is what it is. So I said to say, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have a coaster, someone who's just there. They're, they might get in an alliance or two. They're just chilling, not really doing too much game talk, doing a lot of listening. And people are picking up on that, especially in Chuck's alliance. And no one wants a coaster like Chuck because Chuck, physically, he's a buff guy, meaning that he could win a competition or two. So honestly, one of the best strategies of Big Brother, ironically, and I don't know if Chuck knows he's doing this, is to play dead the first half and then pick it up at jury. He might be doing that. And they are catching on to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Chuck on the block at some point in the next couple of weeks. So we got Lala, Drew, and Chuck are the most vulnerable in my opinion. Now, why Jason lost Big Brother? I think there's multiple reasons. I think that Jason overestimated his relationship with certain people in the game, more specifically Drew. From my understanding, they had the Latino connection, Drew, D, and Jason. But Drew, being a rat floater, everything that Jason told him, he took that information back. Then the whole Jason versus Angela situation, where Angela found out through Drew that Jason was lying to her or using her emotionally as leverage in the game. So that made Jason look like an untrustworthy person. Then I'm going to add this layer into it. And a lot of people are like, why? And I kind of tiptoed around it at the beginning of the episode, but we're just going to say what it is. When you're the only of something on a competitive reality show like this, it's difficult to build relationships with people because naturally people gravitate towards what's like them, right? Like, for example, I just said Drew, D, and Jason had a Latino connection. They bonded because they're Latino. We get it. Jason's the only gay person, only gay man, right? Not only is he the only gay man, he has to experience, now I don't know if this is a choice for him, 3 other reality vets in the game, and he wasn't included in that head count. Then on top of that, he's physically stacked. Like he's a brick house. Like body's T, muscles. Like he's a solid guy. So there's an intimidation factor. Then people have an issue when you're feminine and muscular. There's a perception that femininity looks a certain way. So when Jason's not in drag, I feel like it's very off-putting to someone like Kamu. And someone can say, well, why, like I said, why are you bringing this into it? Because this all plays a factor. This is a social experiment. This is a social experiment. And because of all these layers, that's why Jason was evicted. Who hasn't lied this season on Big Brother? Who hasn't formed multiple alliances? Who hasn't used emotions as currency? They all have. But Jason caught the heat for it. And we know with human nature, they always say, when someone constantly misunderstands you, they don't like you. And I'm not saying that Jason is being completely misunderstood for his actions. What I'm saying is Jason didn't receive the same amount of grace other people have received for doing similar or messier things. And that's what Lala was clocking at the tea party. And now I'm starting to notice a pattern in the last few seasons of Big Brother. Now, we don't have enough data to say this is a fact, but let's run down from season 20 to 28. Season 20, we had JC, gay, made it to top 3. Big Brother 21, we had Tommy, gay, made it to top 5. Big Brother 22, we had Kevin, gay, made it to, I want to say he was second person in jury. I think he was taken out in a triple, so I can't remember what place. But I say that to say with Kevin was nominated a whole bunch of times before he actually got evicted. Big Brother 24, Michael. Did Michael make it to 5th or 6th place? But Michael was targeted the first week. He saved himself. Michael had to win out that entire game to save himself. Because I believe if Michael did not win those vetoes, he would have went home pre-jury. Michael, gay. Big Brother 25, Heisem. Pre-jury. Second boot. No, third boot. Sorry, Heisem. Third boot. Heisem, gay. Big Brother 26, Chemo. I want to say Chemo made top 6, right? But should have went home pre-jury. But saved himself with a great final eviction speech. I think Mackenzie flipped her vote last minute to save him. But he would have been out pre-jury. Chemo, gay. Jimmy, Big Brother 27. Got betrayed by his own alliance. Out third. Jimmy, gay. Jason. Played so hard. Out third. Jason, gay. It's almost like when back in the day, pre-Big Brother 22, when they would only cast 1 or 2 black people, we would be counting our days. We'd be like, it ain't nothing but a matter of time for the black person to get voted out before the jury. And it would happen a lot of times. Until they started adding more black people to the game and we got the cookout. So I said to say, Jason does better on a season with more people like him. Jason does not do well in a season with people not like him, where he's the only one. You could chalk it up to bad gameplay, but I strongly believe Jason could have done everything differently, and he still probably would have been in the same position. If Jason was quiet, they would have clocked it and said he's scheming. If Jason didn't lie, they still would have voted him out and cried about it. It really didn't matter. With this particular group, it did not matter. So, if Jason sees this, give yourself grace, be kind to yourself. Yes, some crazy moves were made. Yes, some bad moves were made. Also, some great moves were made. But just know you tried your best, and that's the best you could do for us watching you and rooting for you. Lastly, live feeds. I've already explained that before the feeds went down today, Mallory was the person expected to go home. She didn't. That's all we got with that. The live feeds are actually up now. After this, I'm going to see who won head of household. Hopefully, I'll be able to sleep better tonight. But before we go, Kamu's social media has been fully exposed for his previous post. Not to get too specific, but I'm going to get a little specific. He's made George Floyd jokes. He's used words like the not so great version of mental retardation. We all know the word. He's done a post, "Who's storming the Capitol with me?" We know what that means. He likes a bunch of homophobic videos on social media. And he's also liked a bunch of anti-immigrant videos, which is ironic because his mom is Jamaican. I say that to say people can say what they want, that this was not a personal week between Kamu and Jason. But unconscious biases are real. He's made quite a few drag jokes in the house. I think the evidence speaks for itself. And I'm going to leave you with that. Make sure you catch us on Sunday. We will have another special guest reviewing the upcoming week's events. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will catch you very soon. Take care.